Beo, don't you have a different song this time?
Da 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 da.
Welcome to Mexico. I am
Mm.
El Jasper, and alongside me is a man who's afraid of the Portuguese, El Beo.
Wait, why am I afraid of the Portuguese?
I had to make something up on the go. Actually, this is Snazzmaster. It's a podcast about Taskmaster, but you wouldn't know if you're just looking at us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're dealing with season 1, episode 4, Down an Octave, period. And Beo is trying to hum La Cucaracha very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you doing, other than being afraid of the Portuguese?
Well, I'm doing buzzies as always, especially since I went through all my liquor. How about you?
I am also buzzy, but that's because I'm on my third energy drink today.
Ooh.
I'm living large. That's why my eyes are twitching.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but today we have what I in the previous episode referred to as the best episode of the season. And I stand by that. I think it's a brilliant episode, so brilliant I haven't even opened my notes yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we are dealing with that episode known as Down an Octave, where, there's my notes, we basically have some of the best tasks of the season. And also one of the weirdest tasks. And one of the most open-ended tasks. And also some bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of bullying.
Always bullying.
Yes. So, Beo,
Heyo.
what would you like a coincidence?
A
A
coincidence? I would love
coincidence.
one.
Episode 4 is exactly 44 minutes and 44 seconds long.
Oh, damn, that's good.
And I verified that it wasn't just the video itself. No, it's actually correct. 44 minutes and
Well,
44 seconds. It's a coincidence, okay? It's broadcast television.
true, but they could also cut it that way because, of course, they have more video than they use,
Of course,
and it's
but
cut down.
I don't think they meant to do this, okay?
I do.
Okay, but here's something that's not a coincidence, and that's Frank Skinner's outfit.
Mm-hmm.
A vomit green suit, a aggressively magenta slash plum shirt, and a polka dotted tie.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking hideous.
Absolutely. A crime against fashion.
A crime against humanity, if I will.
Ooh,
Make of that what
feeling
you want.
bolder.
I'm feeling very bold, but I mean, I'm not the only person to acknowledge this during the show. I think. Just saying. Just saying.
You're
So,
just saying.
would you lead us into today's prize task?
So today's prize task is for the most beautiful item. And to be fair, I feel like a lot of people missed the memo on this task because some of these items are hideous.
They're fucking hideous. We're just gonna go with. It's not fair to bully Rasheen, but let's bully Rasheen some more. Even if he doesn't finish last. TV Tropes has written this down as a garish cardigan. I don't think garish really covers it. I think Frank is right when he says it's great if you want to hide in a church. Because she does look like a stained, as some, one of those colorful stained glass windows.
Exactly.
Yes.
With the sun gleaming through on a beautiful.
Did you just... Okay, you just quit your philosophy halfway through. Your poetry, if you will. I would personally give that 1 point. I think it's not beautiful at all. And then I would have given Ramesh 2 points.
Yeah.
What was his story? It was a gift from his mother about the birth of his second or third child.
First child, yep.
Something like that. A picture of a pregnant... No, a figurine of a mother and child. But But as Ramesh remarks, well, that child turned out to be shit. Which is not canon, because he has referred in his stand-up show as the first child was brilliant, actually.
Whoa.
It was the second child that was shit.
It was a retcon, okay?
It was a retcon, you know. He has, I can't remember the exact word, but like, oh, we really figured out parenting. You know, firm guidelines and all that. That really makes a child, you know. And then he called his second child feral. Honestly, I just love Ramesh, okay?
Yeah.
It is
I mean,
brilliant.
aren't all children just feral, really?
No, some are nice, actually. So, I'm an uncle of 3.
Oh.
Yeah. My oldest nephew he is still feral, okay? But my youngest nephew and my niece, they're the most polite and well-behaved children of all time.
Mm-hmm.
They help at home, they're courteous, they're polite, you know, they look good if they shake your hands with you and look at you. My oldest nephew, he looks like he lives in a cave. And he acts like a hermit.
Ah, so they do live in cave. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. This won't make sense to anyone. I said it. He looks like a Norwegian for some reason. Walks down in an ugly sweater and long hair. You know, it's just. I'm just saying, not all children are feral.
Mm-hmm.
That was a detour. Terribly sorry.
Oh yeah.
Frank shows up with and I didn't know this existed, a vacuum cleaner cover.
Yeah, why do you need an explicit cover for a vacuum
I
cleaner?
don't know. The worst part is I kind of want one.
Unless it's because you leave it out in the room all the time. It's like, why
Which
can't I just
I
leave it out in
do,
the...
actually.
You do?
My vacuum is in the corner of my living room, behind the table.
Not in the closet?
No, my closets are full.
Oh.
My closets are full of everything else, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I could actually kind of get why you have it. I didn't know it existed. But, and if I had to get one, why not go with a country mouse-themed one?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Which, honestly, I wouldn't say beautiful, but I do like it.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely do like it.
Yeah, just standing there in the corner, being all docile. Mm-hmm.
Yes, as opposed to feral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which implies there's a feral vacuum cleaner cover.
I mean, it could be made.
It could definitely be made. I probably even know people who could make it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. Josh gets 4 points with a magic eye picture, which I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either.
And he claims it is a picture of the Taskmaster naked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he revealed in the podcast, the official Taskmaster podcast, that it's just a regular old magic eye picture sourced by the crew. So technically, he shouldn't get 4 points.
That is so cheap and cheating.
It is cheap and cheaty. You know, we could have had a country mouse themed vacuum cleaner cover at 4 points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
True.
And that would have been amazing. So I'm just saying, this is where we should have a retcon. Because Greg says, and I'm not even sure I'm quoting him correctly, if he's wrong, he's going to have some serious words afterwards.
True.
And he's wrong.
And you know, those 4 points might matter because Josh only wins by 2 this episode.
Oh, let's not even talk about whole season.
Oh.
I mean, I don't want to spoil the season, but...
No.
It matters. It matters. Anyway, and then Tim wins the task, and I actually agree with this one.
I'm just surprised they could still get tickets under changing names in that time period. It's like, hasn't security like locked down by 2015 that hard? There was like, nope, give me a name or fuck off.
Okay, so let's just get this right here. It's a day ticket, flight ticket.
Mm-hmm.
to Cologne to see the Cologne Cathedral, which is very beautiful, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And bribing is always a appreciated measure.
Mm-hmm.
And the ticket, the name on the ticket is Ramesh, right?
Yep.
But the whole name changing thing, I think it's because at this point we're still in the EU. The British are still in the EU, right? And we
Uh-huh.
have this thing called the Schengen Agreement, which basically means you can just go into another country without showing your passport.
Mm.
And I think that is part of the reason why you could still change your name on the passport at that point. No, on the ticket.
Ah.
As long as it's the right person that shows up in the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could just have showed up, with a fucking blank replica, instead of the actual ticket, but I digress. And again, not that Ramesh could have used the ticket because his first name is still Jonathan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there. And I still think that's funny. But that means he's
Mm-hmm.
called Nathan twice. Like Jonathan ranked Nathan. Right. Nathan.
Mm. True.
I've been laughing at that for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks. Damn.
I'm very easy to entertain, okay?
Very easy indeed.
Yeah. In any case, though, I do actually agree with a trip to the Cologne Cathedral being the, correct award. The correct 5 points, because it's a very majestic building.
Mm-hmm.
It's, for those of you who don't know, it's a famous cathedral with 2 towers instead of just one. And, but basically look like roof spikes all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And the inside is just like, archways all over the place.
Yeah, but isn't it so old? I feel like we need a new season update.
Of
Where is
of
our
the
next
cathedral.
version with 3 towers?
I don't know.
We gotta get on that. A 3-towered one.
A 3-towered one. Yes, right.
Hash notes.
Update the Cologne Cathedral. Hashtag.
Exactly.
Yes. And fun fact, by the way, and this also serves as a segue. The cathedral was not blown up in World War II. It did not disappear.
Not at
Unlike
all.
the object in task number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smiling at dumbass now because I'm trying to be funny. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not amused. No? Okay. Okay.
It's hard when we have so many funny things going on to get amused from one thing to the next. It kind of like washes over it in the end.
Okay. Let me try it again, but in words you understand.
Uh-huh.
Would you like a task with a clear objective?
Yes, I would.
Task number 1. Make this block of ice disappear as fast as possible in 1 hour. I don't know why they had to put on in 1 hour on the list, but the principle
That's a
of
good
it.
point.
It's a good point,
Yeah.
actually. It doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
seeing as everyone except Tim actually does manage to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you like to start from... Actually, you know what? Before we get to what it actually did, let's talk about what to do.
Mm-hmm.
How would you do it?
Yeah. Well, as most of them did, the first obvious step is to break the ice as much as possible into small pieces, because the more surface area it has, the faster it melts. And then to submerge it in
Yeah.
as much hot liquid as possible.
Yeah. But again, you're approaching this as a melting task.
Mm.
And I put it to you that Tim was actually right. It just says disappear.
Yeah, just disappear.
I would personally I would throw it away, just hide it. Because, as Greg and Alex points out, it hasn't actually disappeared because someone can still see it.
Mm-hmm,
What if you hide it under a blanket? Okay, can you just have the camera crew and Alex close their eyes? I'm just gonna hide this block of ice in the living room somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do like
True.
a David Copperfield magic trick and just vanish away the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically it's disappeared. You don't know where it is.
True.
Matter of factly, actually, several tasks in this season and in future seasons, they've called a cab, a taxi to the place where they shoot. Just call a taxi and say, "Hey, can you take this plug of ice and just drive away with it?
Yep.
Just dump it somewhere." That's disappeared.
Indeed it
Because
is.
go on, find my fucking block of ice. I don't even know where it is. And that's why I think Tim had the right idea, but the wrong execution.
Mm-hmm. Why not just bury the ice at that point?
See, that's a good one. You could just bury the ice. That would
Mm-hmm.
no doubt be faster, because I believe the fastest time was, what, 27 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds
Give or
about right.
take? Yeah. Because everyone else tries to melt the ice. Which, I mean, it's a shame because you have such an open goal here, right? Or you have a clear goal, but many approaches to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is what makes this a great task. As I believe we have agreed on before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good task. I love it.
Yeah. So it's kind of, everyone goes for the melting approach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, Ramesh, he starts by acting like an orangutan and just throwing the ice a lot.
Bashing it against the ground.
Which,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, is not a bad idea.
No, pretty good. Pretty good.
As you said yourself, surface area.
Mm-hmm. And Ramesh even goes further and pulls out the salt.
Yes, and that's actually a brilliant move. If,
Very brilliant.
it hadn't been that slow.
I know, right? Still the slowest of the bunch.
I mean, it's certainly a plan. Just pour ice in the damn thing, change the melting temperature and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow it's slowest. Slower than Rasheen, who's holding a goddamn shower head over a block of ice. I mean, she's not holding it. Alex is holding it, but,
Mm-hmm.
technicalities. Technicalities.
The fact that even the sinks thing reaches that far out the window is amazing.
Well, actually, no. Consider that in most houses, you want to air out from your bathroom, right? Otherwise, you get what's called
Mold?
mold. Thank you.
Mhm.
I couldn't remember the Danish words because in Danish it's actually called a sponge. No, not in. It's a mushroom in Danish for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know why
I
I call it a
mean,
mushroom, but mold. Yes.
it's technically correct. Yeah, but anyways.
And this is an older house without proper air ducts, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So having a window in the shower makes sense.
Oh no, that was a window in the kitchen.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the kitchen sinks thing that came out.
Well, then it's probably a very modern kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure about that? It looked like you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. You can remember how things look. I don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, despite it looking slow, it's still a third place.
True.
I mean,
And
it
points
looks
count.
slow. And I mean, Frank and Josh, right? That could have gone both ways, right?
It
Josh
was
wins the
neck to
task.
neck.
Yeah, and Josh wins the task by a few minutes. It could have gone both ways. And I agree
Exactly.
with Frank because it would make sense, right? You put a lump of ice into an oven. Why would that not work?
But it comes back to that surface area thing again. The
I mean,
transfer of heat is inefficient.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on what setting he sets the oven on. Like, if he uses just the heat element, of course, it's only going to be the surface. But if he had used the hot air function on the oven, the whole surface would have been in play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, this task brings up again, as I brought up earlier, the weird thing about like multiple of them immediately got the goggles on when they started to break the ice apart. It's like, do they pause that to let them get the goggles on and be, hold on there, buddy. We gotta do what the insurance says, buddy.
That probably yes, to be honest. I don't blame them. You could definitely get a piece of ice stuck in your eye. Ice stuck in your eye. That's very hard to say.
Yep.
Um,
Tongue twister.
that and I'm not very good at English.
Neither am I, but moving on.
Moving on. So, depending on the budget of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just bring a microwave, you know? Just take a block of ice and put it in the microwave.
Does that work?
It should
Like
work.
physically?
No, I mean, the way microwaves work is they vibrate the water. Well, yeah, the water molecules in the food.
Yeah.
So surely putting a block of ice in is, you know... I mean, you would definitely ruin the thing, but the principle of it... Putting a block... I'm going on Google again, by the way. Putting a block of ice in a microwave. I can't spell microwave.
Oh, it would actually explode. Oh. It heats up the water inside before the outside, and the water inside boils and explodes.
Well, I mean, that would make it disappear.
Yeah!
Along with the microwave and the camera crew.
And the insurance will be upset.
Might get you disqualified.
Yeah.
Okay, so we learned something today. Don't put a block of ice in your goddamn microwave. Well, okay.
It's surprising.
Okay, hear me out then. Put it in the kettle.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
That would work, wouldn't it? Right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd have to have a lot of kettles, of course, but I mean, it's a large chunk of ice. You know, you just chop some bits off, put random places like the oven or the kettle or your pants. I mean, technically, hear me out.
Oh, that would be painful, though.
Well, okay, yes, it is painful, but consider that sperm quality is highly dependent on the heat of your testicles. That's why your testicles are outside of your body, not inside.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So if you put a lump of ice in your underwear, it's actually good for your sperm quality. Plus, Alex is not going to grow up your balls, so it's disappeared.
I feel like this comes up later. I feel like you're wrong, and this comes up later.
Is it about Tim again?
No, it's about many tasks later, many...
I think I know which task you're referring to, but is that next season? Or is it this season, actually?
It's so far later, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one about hiding something on your body, right?
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Is that this season, or... No, that is definitely next season. Okay. Still, ice cubes in, you know... Okay. I still think melting it is not the fastest way. But I'm not in a position to prove them wrong.
Also, it's crazy that they let Josh walk with a boiling pot of water through the house.
No, actually, it was a walk.
True, it's a walk,
which is even more crazy. Because that has a higher spill factor. Was he wearing goggles when he did it?
No.
Oh no, the insurance papers.
Exactly.
Which kind of, you know what, I'm just gonna Google it. Who insures Taskmaster? I wonder.
Oh no, you're right about Rasheen. It is the bathroom. I just didn't... The bathroom
I
is
knew, because it went right next to the entrance hall. That's how you design a building, you know? You put the bathroom next to the entrance for some reason.
Yeah, I thought it was on the other side of the entrance.
No. Because who would put a kitchen right next to the entrance, you know?
Ah, good point.
Also, if you Google Taskmaster Insurance, there's actually a company called... Or a thing called... Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't know who insures Taskmaster TV show, but... No, actually, hang on. Now I'm serious. I want to find out who ensures the TV show. Bacon. Why am I calling you Bacon? That's another guy. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just kill some time while I am go look at the credits of the show.
Very well. Very well. It's still surprising that Rasheen, who did not even attempt to break down the ice, got a better time than Ramesh in this task.
It is kind of weird because, I don't know, maybe he was just slow.
Just having fun, taking the time. Having the time of their
The
lives.
time of their lives. Why are you singing?
Because they are the dancing queen.
Why would you be like that?
It's about the show tunes. Everyone loves show tunes.
I mean, I don't disagree with everyone loving show tunes, but still, the credits does not say who ensures the TV show.
Damn.
I wonder if IMDb says it.
Ooh.
And I know this. I know it's a weird thing, but I think about it. Someone has to say, "Hey, we'll ensure a show where people do stupid things." And clearly, they have limits on what they want to do.
Exactly.
Just putting that out there. It has to be someone who does it. And I don't know, I'm just curious. Which reminds me, by the way, season 17 has started.
Ooh.
I'm almost considering if we should do that instead of season 2. Just to be on topic. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. We could probably do that.
We're grown men. We can do what we want. It does not say who made it. It doesn't. I mean, you know what I mean, but
Ensure it, yeah.
ensure it. Very sad. I'm actually very upset that I don't know who insured the show. It feels important. Should we just get on with the points? Would you do the honors since you finally found the point sheet?
Yep. So, Tim, with their non-disappearing ice, is obviously last. Then Ramesh, even though they used good ice, the salt technique on the ice, was very slow at it and came in fourth. Followed by Rasheen, who just casually used the bathroom shower head to melt the ice outside. Then, between Frank and Josh, where Josh comes out in the head by a few minutes.
Which puts Josh at 9 points this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure why that's relevant, but it just is.
Well,
okay.
Points are points. It's
Points
how
are
you
points.
It's how you get the prizes at the end.
Points are points. Now, before I move on to this one, let me just get a sip of my drink here. We should get a sponsorship. Some drinks company. Now, Bayon, I am so pleased that we're getting to this task.
Oh, this one?
If you ask me, what is the most Taskmaster of tasks? What is the task I would show to a person who has never watched a show before? I would show them task number 2. Get to 11 points.
Interesting. I do agree with the premise of the task in general. I personally would go with the watermelon one. But I do disagree with the team aspect of it.
We can disagree on the team aspect, sure. But I'm not going to hold that against them this time. So let me just reiterate the rules because no one else understands them. They're in a squash court, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Which is indoor tennis with a rubber ball and some paint. They have a table. They have some props. They have some muffins. The task is very simple. 11 points. And it's under the classic Taskmaster rules. You get a point when you touch your head. You lose one when you shake your head. And you lose 2 points when you disrespect the Taskmaster or Alex. And I think that is so obscure and confusing and mind-bendingly weird.
Especially since they weren't told the rules ahead of time. They were just said, get 11 points. No explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as Alex will say later, well, he doesn't say it this season, but he'll say it later. All the information is on the task.
True, because it's
That's
not
all
this
you
time.
need to know. That's all you need to know, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to explain why I love this so much. I just think it's the earnestness that the teams go into this with.
Mm-hmm.
A mixture of confusion and scientific approach.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Rasheen and Josh just being like, you know what? Every time we turn our back on the Taskmaster, no, on Gray, sorry, on Alex, we get a point, right? Or every time we go into the corner, we get a point. A very scientific approach, which, well, I mean, they somehow get 11 points without knowing how.
True, and they somehow get it faster without knowing how.
Well, that's because, Frank is slow. Or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to blame Frank.
You want to blame Frank?
I just
You
want to
just
blame
wanted
Frank. I
to.
don't know why.
You mean? You
I'm very
mean?
mean. But
Mm-hmm.
Frank did spend time throwing a muffin into a trash can,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which feels relevant. And anyway, I don't think there is a correct way of approaching this. Because
No, not really.
how the fuck are you supposed to know you're supposed to touch your head?
Yeah, just it's random chance at that point.
It basically is. Which is why it's part of why I love this. There isn't a method.
Only madness.
It's only madness. It is just constant madness from 0 to 11 points. And that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Now, the weird thing is that about the speed at which it happened is because it's based on the statistic of how often people actually touch their faces.
How
Like
often do they touch your faces?
it's very often. I think it's like multiple times a minute.
Honestly, that's something I do. I touch my face a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Like every time I think I have to touch my face.
I mean, I'm touching my face right now.
Okay, 23 times per hour, so once every 3 minutes or so.
So theoretically, if you do it by accident, you would win. You would complete the task in 33 minutes.
Yeah. And that's per person, so that's also where the team part comes in with the lopsided count.
You're not wrong. I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, you'd have to consider that 3 people have more. They have to talk more, communicate more,
Mm-hmm.
which would bring down their overall performance level. If they're not coordinated, now I'm touching my eyebrows.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, it's not always an advantage being 3 people in a team.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think this is a good task to be a team task, because then you have 2 people being insane next to each other. I mean, it
But
could work either
also,
way, to be honest.
also Tim just intentionally going negative.
Well, I mean, that's hilarious. That's just comedy.
Mhm. Yep.
But, it works out in the end. And, I mean, okay, point-wise, it doesn't matter. It's 2 points for the winning team, 1 for the losing team. So it doesn't
Hey,
really
one
matter, per se, but it's still hilarious.
hey, 1 point could be all the difference.
1 point could be all the difference. Hey, speaking of 1 point, would you like an intermission?
An intermission.
You see, I've always wondered how many beans there are in a tin of baked beans.
Me too.
Me too. We'll find out after this advertising break. We don't have an advertiser, but it's funny because that's what they do in the show.
And what they actually do to Josh Widdicombe.
Yes. Let's put that aside for a second.
Mm.
Until, we get a bit closer to it. It's a fun intermission. But I'm just thinking. Go
I
on,
think
sorry.
they actually do it in the middle of the ice task when they bring up the beans.
No, because I have written down when it happens.
Oh.
No, actually it does, yeah. 406 baked beans in a baked beans tin, that's during the ice block.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
434 spaghetti hoops in a tin during the Actually, that's also the ice block thing. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Then they ignore it, and then we move on with the egg cup one, yada yada yada, and then he has to calculate how much rice is in the back. But we'll get to that in a moment, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
I will get to that. Because we're still stuck in the madness of a task that on paper looks really fucking dull. I know. And it's hard to explain why it is brilliant, because I genuinely think it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no system, there's no logic to it. Why is it on a squash court? Why are there muffins on the floor?
All red herrings. All
So many red herrings. And I think it could work both as a team task and a solo task.
Mm-hmm.
And I just so much wish that there had been more of this kind of task. Which is just, it's not art, it's just madness. Just madness.
It's pure, absolute madness.
In the same way as you know, high five a 55-year-old from a few episodes ago. That's also just pure madness.
Yep. Or you could just be like Tim and get lucky and just the first person you
Of course you
go
can get
for.
lucky. I mean, if Frank had looked at the timer at at the points thingy while touching his face earlier, they would have won the task,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And actually I don't know, is it touch your own head or is it just touch a head? Let me just check the rules here. When contestants touch their heads, in theory they could touch each other.
Mm.
Just play someone's skull like a drum,
Exactly.
You could get 11 points in what? 2 seconds.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is my honest opinion of what is the best task of all time. I know it's a controversial opinion, but here we are.
I do agree. It would be better served as a solo task than a team task.
That is so not what I said, but okay. I say it could work both ways.
Oh, you
And
said
I
it could
stand by
work
that.
both ways.
Yeah, it could.
Okay.
And I wish we had more insanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the next task is also insane, but that's in a different way, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to introduce it?
So, just a simple little thing. You got an egg cup in front of you, and we're a little parched, so we need you to fill it with your tears.
With your tears. As many tears as possible in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is one of those where I know how I would do it. And we'll get to that, but let's discuss how you would do it and why you're wrong.
I honestly would have gone with the harvesting approach and be like, it doesn't have to be my tears. Oh, come here, staff. Come here.
Yeah, use the staff. Actually, I mean, Frank does that and he wins the task on it. That's brilliant. Using the crew. No rules against that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's something people don't do enough, the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I may, I'm a bit more in Team Rummish, but I wouldn't put it in my eyes. You see, I would argue my snot is partially made of tears from the tear duct.
Oh, where are you going with this?
I'm going with whenever. Okay, so there's a lot of kebab places in my town, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And there is one, and it's coincidentally run by my hairdresser's dad. And I think he hates people, because whenever they don't order a drink with the kebab, he puts extra chili in it.
Oh.
And I don't know where he gets his chili from, but whenever I eat it, I can genuinely feel all liquids disappear from my body. My skin turns red, my nose begins to run. The whole thing. So, if I ate a bunch of that chili naked, right? No, naked as in just the chili, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just want to point out, this is chili that sits on a small cup for 8 to 10 hours every day in public, where strangers can touch it and sneeze in it, right? Real gross chili. If I ate that, if I just took a spoonful of the chili, you know, every part of if there's liquid in it, it will come out of my body. That includes my tears. And along with the snot, to be honest. That's how I would approach it. Every little thing of me would just drain from my body.
Okay.
And not to put a fine point of it, I actually think I could beat 10 tears.
With just the ingesting of the chili.
Yes. I really... I mean, you're going, ugh, when you think about it. I'm thinking about it now. I'm going, ugh, too, actually. Because I never considered that chili just stands on the table 10 hours a day at room temperature. God knows what it's doing. Like, it's fucking fermenting or something. Really, really powerful chili.
Really powerful.
And I mean, I've seen... Have you seen chili eating competitions?
No.
Well, put it this way. They cry as well. What I'm trying to say is, I get what Ramesh is doing by putting chili sauce in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you know...
And I'm surprised the insurance allowed that. Like, after everything else...
Well, here's the difference. That's him doing it to himself. So that's his own insurance. That's not the show insurance. He did a stupid thing on his own accord and only to himself. So that's his own insurance papers. That is not the company insurance. So that's okay. Now, if he were to light himself on fire, that would probably be debatable, but...
Exactly.
You get the point, I believe. And yet he only finishes fourth. Because Frank is a genius.
Exactly.
Yes.
A good harvest.
A good harvest by giving the crew onions and singing sad songs about dogs.
That was like the weird topper to it. Was like, what else should I do? I know, I'll sing a song.
I mean, to be fair, if someone sings Puff the Magic Dragon to me, I would cry.
Okay.
That's a really sad song.
Oh.
I think it's a really sad song, isn't it?
I don't think so. I don't know so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Very sad. But you know, also that, you know, that song, You're My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine. It's also a sad song. I'm getting sad just by thinking of it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having a mental detour here for a second.
A very strong one at this point.
I'm sorry, I know this is supposed to be a very, all this talking about tears makes me emotional, right? Because you remember the times you cried, yeah?
No, but go on.
Just ugly cried, you know, really bawl your hearts out. Yeah. No. I'm not gonna go further into that because then I'll just bum myself out for the rest of the episode. Let's laugh at someone. Has Rasheen done anything stupid today?
Well, it's their time to shine.
Here she comes with 0 tears because she's trying to watch a sad movie, which has a comedy scene in it.
Like that random comedy scene. I mean, it didn't work. I mean, it's just as good as Tim's attempt was like, let's look up powerful art.
A farting bull ramming someone in the butt. That's powerful as fuck.
Yep,
I don't know what you were thinking about. I mean, you know, sure, crying on command is a useful skill, but, you know, Josh and Ramesh puts things in your eyes, you know, I think that's a lot better. So technically, if they produce no tears, shouldn't they get 0 points, you know? Just on a technical note.
I still think 0 counts because it's just a pure count. There was no disqualification metric.
You know what, that brings up an interesting question. One we haven't considered at all, actually.
Oh.
And that goes not just for this task, but for a lot of other tasks. How would you get disqualified here?
I don't think you can get disqualified on this one.
Come on, give it a think. Give it a good old think, you know? Surely there's a way.
A way to get disqualified here.
I believe in you.
Besides committing active crimes against other people.
I don't think that's necessarily, you know, a disqualification. That's just a crime. That's different.
Okay.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that's not my only question. It's just a more pressing question, no pun intended. Okay, so while I was asking you that question, I was Googling a question I was actually wondering when I was watching the episode.
Oh, okay.
Okay, are you ready to go again?
Fine.
You can... you have a tear gland slightly above your eye, yeah?
Yeah.
That's where the tears are. Theoretically, you could massage it.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, kind of get the tears out that way.
Yeah, massage the tears out.
Yeah. I think that's theoretically possible.
Theoretically.
I mean, whenever I Google it, it's just massaging your tear ducts, but the ducts are the ones near your eye, near your nose.
That's where they actually come out, yeah.
No, yeah, where they actually come out from the outer side of the eye. Or, yeah, something like that, you know? I mean, surely. Because apparently you can get, like, a swollen tear gland, which sounds really painful.
Oh, that does sound painful.
And one of the approaches you can do with that is, you know, a massage. And I'm just quoting the Mayo Clinic now, which is a serious clinic in Hollywood, right? And I am generally not shitting you when just suggesting intubating your tear gland.
Intubating?
You're shoving a tube into it.
Oh!
I know! I know, right? But that would get you tears.
I mean, yes.
That would definitely get you some tears.
Definitely.
Probably more than Frank. When he got 12 tears? Something like that?
Yep.
I mean, ow, you know? Ow.
Very ow, yeah.
Very ow. Just... I mean, who the fuck in the right... What doctor in the right minds goes, yeah, let's put a tube up a guy's tear gland? I mean, I guess there are some doctors that are just sick people, you know?
Humanity has no limits to their curiosity.
No chill. If there's a hole, it will be probed.
Ugh, yeah.
And I'm saying this as a man who's been on the internet for 20 years now. I have seen a lot of holes get probed. A lot of them should not be probed. Let me put it that way. Still better than talking about times we were sad.
Yeah.
Would you just do the points, Beo? Just do the points, would you?
I would, if not all my screens just going black at once.
Well, that does sound awkward, and
Very awkward.
and you're touching your face again.
Yes.
Which is very visible because you have ripped hands and I don't. It honestly looks kind of weird, you know, when you do that.
Oh, okay.
It's a crossover between a face palm and you scratching inside your skull. It's a whole thing.
You know, the
Sorry, that was a
inside needs a little scratch too.
Well, of course, inside needs a little scratch. Let's intubate it. Frank gets 5 points. Ramesh, with chili in his eyes, goes blind and gets 4 points. Just tries to rub his eyeballs with onions, gets 3 points. Roshin and Tim just kind of shows up, gets no tears, 1 point. And here's where the episode gets weird, right? Because all other episodes have had 4 tasks and a live task, give or take. But this episode only has 3 tasks and a live task.
Oh, true.
Which is why I feel now is a good time to discuss beans.
Now the beans come back.
Now the beans are back to roost. Roast?
Mm-hmm.
Roost?
Roast. Mm.
I don't know what I'm saying, okay? So, throughout the episode, Josh has been bullied.
Mm-hmm.
He has been asked to count baked beans. He has been asked to count spaghetti. But finally, he's asked to count how much rice there is in a 500-gram bag of rice.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives up and resorts to math.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then, and this is this is actually a great part of the episode, he says, I'm not the one who has to look at this 5 times. Implying that the other contestants do it and say, I'm not the biggest loser.
Yeah.
But he is the biggest loser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was like the greatest moment right then and there.
I'm not the one who has to watch this 5 times, and neither does the producers. Sucker. I still kind of wish he had actually counted the amount of grains of rice. I mean, I'm sure someone else would have tried.
I feel like Frank and Rasheen would have counted,
I'm
but the
glad
other
you say that. Yeah, Tim would have given up. Ramesh would have done math and gotten it wrong, as we concluded, because he's not very good at math, despite being a math teacher. But yeah, Frank and Rasheen would have done it. They would have counted.
I feel like actually being the teacher part is a very short part of their career.
That was a few years between a graduation and actually having a career. I'm remembering. I think it was I think there was a task in the Danish version about counting the number of brown M&Ms in the bowl. And it was a big bowl.
Very big bowl.
I was just thinking that's actually a good task. I believe was that in a few seasons time where it was like sort these M&Ms or something like that. And there's no correct way of sorting them. They just have to be sorted. Just make 5 piles. That's beside the point. That's not neither here nor there, but just a detour, right? Let me track back. Josh loudly argues I should get a bonus point. And after the episode, he actually does get a bonus point. But only because he would have won the episode regardless. Which we'll get to. We'll get to that in a second, but he would have finished 1 point ahead of Frank Skinner this episode.
But you didn't know at that moment because there's still the live task.
Yeah, so they're definitely winging it as they go along. And I mean, am I allowed to spoil the series standings? The final score?
It's more up to you.
I mean, it's our show.
Save it then.
Okay, I'll save it. I'm just saying it's a very important point.
Very important indeed.
Very important. We didn't know it yet, but it's very important. Let's move on to the live task, yeah?
Yep.
Which is the weakest part of the episode, but...
Yeah.
I mean, you just had a bunch of brilliant tasks, and now, again, I'm just trying not to talk about it. So let's discuss Australian rules football. Because otherwise it's going to be a short episode.
Yeah. Australian rules football is interesting because it's played on a cricket field.
Well, is it actually a cricket field, or is it just shaped like one? Because I know they play in a circle.
I think it's specifically like the same sized exact field.
You know what? I'm going to look it up. But I will tell you one thing, and I knew this in advance, right? That yes, they don't have sleeves on their shirts. I don't know why. That seems... I mean, I keep thinking the word bogan when I think about that, you know?
Bogan.
I think that's an Australian term for a... Actually, let me just quote Wikipedia. Bogan is an Australian and New Zealand slang for a person whose speech, clothing, attitude, and behavior are considered unrefined and unsophisticated.
I see.
And I would say not having sleeves is very unsophisticated.
True.
I mean, can you think of one other sport other than, running where you don't have sleeves?
Swimming.
Yes and no, because you can actually get a full bodysuit, although that's not really allowed in competition anymore. Well, you get a whole wetsuit that has sleeves,
But mostly no.
but mostly no. There's exactly there simply
Yeah.
is no sleeves.
Yep. Also, it's a modified cricket field.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It's more egg-shaped.
A little more eggy.
It is. See, a cricket field is completely circular. That much I know. And don't ask why I know the rules of cricket. I don't know. It's a weird sport.
I mean, statistically, just being a human alive on this planet, you have a high chance of knowing the cricket rules.
Yes, but that is because of India, so that doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying there's, 1.2 billion Indians, not 1.2 million, 1.2 billion Indians who fucking love cricket.
Yep.
So, I mean, this isn't really fair, is it? I don't feel it's fair.
I feel it's fair.
I don't know. I mean, at least no one knows the rules for Australian football. I mean, they don't even call it that. They call it Aussie rules. And they have a weird point system, And why is this relevant, the listener might ask? Well, it's because they gotta memorize the name of everyone on an Aussie rules football team. And they have great names like Trev and Blanket and Yank Tank.
The fact that one of them has that as a name and they just went with it, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I just roll with it. But who the fuck goes with Blanket? I mean, he did not pick that himself. What's your name?
Maybe,
Blanket.
maybe they did.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Yank Tank, I get. I would also accept Wank Plank, like someone said. I feel Wank Plank has potential as a name,
Did they actually say where the team was from?
No, it's on Jersey. I think it was North London Lions or something like that.
Oh, so
It
it is
was
a
a local
UK
team. It says on the
It
shirt.
was local.
I mean, I don't think they flew in a team from fucking Australia.
I would believe that for half a second, yeah.
North London Lions plays AFL in Greater London. I googled it. I don't know why people would play Aussie rules football when you live in Britain, because you have fucking rugby.
Exactly.
I don't know
And
why
cricket.
anyone. Yeah, but that's the same. I mean, there's a difference between football and not football,
True.
as many important historians will point out.
And there's also football.
And there's yeah, it is. I mean, they're all called football. That's the weird part, right? Because they all start from football. And it's actually worse than that, if I may. Just a complete detour. If you live in Ireland, you can play no less than 6 different kinds of football.
Nice.
You can play association football, which you guys call soccer. You can play rugby football. You can play rugby league football, which is a different sport with less people and a smaller pitch. You can actually play Gaelic football.
Oh.
Because they have their own version of football, of course. You can actually play Aussie rules football under a standardized rules set known as international rules, because Gaelic football is basically Aussie rules football. How many footballs was that? That was 5 footballs. And I'm pretty sure there are people who also play, the American style football over there as well. Because that's actually very popular in Europe. So at the very least, you can play 6 different kinds of football in Ireland.
Nice.
I don't know why you would do that. But now you know.
Just so you can run the whole circuit and have sports all year round.
Yeah, but why would you go outside in Ireland in the winter? It's just, winter storms all the time, The fucking
True,
Atlantic.
true. Yeah. Terrible time.
This has nothing to do with that. I just realized. Very
Nope.
important.
Nope.
So they
I mean,
memorize a bunch of sleeveless people's names, yeah?
yeah.
And then they have to remember their names.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just be honest, I only remember one person of the whole bunch. That was Dina.
Yank. Oh, you remember Dina?
Of all people, I remember Dina.
Not the Yank Tank?
I know. I noticed the name Yank Tank, but then I got distracted because Blanket came after him,
Mm-hmm. What
and then
about
I
Trevor?
you know, two of the contestants said this guy's name is Trev.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they all look like Trevs, you know? Even Yank Tank.
Do you have an edition of this task where everyone has the same exact name?
Everyone is named Moira because that is a fast name.
Yeah, it's a fast name. Moira.
Moira. You can't even say Moira fast because you'll just say more or something.
Mm-hmm.
Trev is a good name because you can, like, you're cutting off syllables, right? Trev!
Mm-hmm.
Trev!
Mm-hmm.
Blanket! Yank Tank! Dina! Moira! Doesn't work, you know, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work at all.
It really does not work.
Nah, but you can also go the evil route where everyone has the same name, but they're all spelled different. You know, this
Jeff. Jeff and Jeffrey. How the fuck does that work? You know?
Jeff with one F, Jeff with two Fs, Jeffrey.
And then you have the same thing, but with G instead. Although I've never met a Jeff with one F. I mean,
Oh.
but I'm sure it exists.
It's probably because it's pronounced Jiff.
Jeff. A bit like, you know, the file format that everyone calls GIF is actually pronounced GIF.
Mm-hmm.
That is the... But that's not Jeff. And that is, you know... What the hell are we going on about? Does this make any sense anymore?
I don't even know what the gist of this conversation is anymore.
I think it is... Here's a bunch of people, shake hands with them, and then try to guess their name. I never understand live tasks.
No. And they all tied on this one, too.
Everyone gets one correct one, and everyone gets 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
And as the dear Taskmaster says, I'm sure this has had a very massive importance on the final score.
Very massive indeed.
Extremely massive.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives us a point score of Jeff Whitaker at 15 points, and he gets one for the bullying task, right? That 1 point.
Yep.
Skinner at 14, Ramesh at 10, Rasheen and Tim ties at 9. And I just want to point something out here, right? A little fun fact. Yes, Tim gets 5 points in the very first task.
Yep.
And then scores 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and 1 point in the remaining tasks.
This episode was not their episode.
It was not Tim's day now.
No.
So he doesn't get to go to Cologne to see the cathedral.
Not at all. No.
Not at all. And yet he's still not the person that gets most humiliated this episode. And that depends, Bea, when did you close your episode?
Is
Because
there like a post credits?
there is a mid-credits scene, actually, where, you know, Just tries to put on Rasheen's jumper.
Oh yeah, and can I take this off now? I'm suffocating.
Yeah. How...
Yeah.
The winner of Taskmaster can't put a jumper on. Which is... I mean, how do you not put a jumper on? How can you not put a jumper on? Like, it's a fucking jumper.
It's just a shirt. It's just a shirt, bruh.
It's just a shirt, bruh. It's your shirt now, bruh. Like, how can you not put it on? And I think that is the ultimate humiliation. I mean, in theory, at least, you know?
In theory, I think it's more humiliating the counting all the different items.
I was about to say that as well. But, I mean, the shirt dedication, you know?
Now, I
Counting
really
baked
wonder
beans.
if they had them count the items on the same day or different days.
Surely different days. Surely. Because if you give a man 3 counting tasks in one day, he's just gonna stop working at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the production of this show is obviously complex and confusing. But I don't think they would have given him 3 counting tasks in one day.
No, not at all.
Or, I mean, as, Ramesh would put it, I'm not even sure they would give him a cardboard box. A throwback to last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was a good time.
I'm sorry. It was me. I stole the box.
You stole the... God damn it, Bayo. Stop stealing boxes. What are you, trying to build a fort or something?
Exactly. I need to protect myself from the cats.
Why is it when you want cats?
Well, cats are vicious predators. They kill just for fun.
Yeah, but... So? You're being catsist. Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm a bit xenophobic towards Australians doesn't mean you should bully me. And the Welsh as well, come to think of it.
I think that list is much long.
It's a very long list, but there's a lot of things I have not said in this podcast yet.
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 Yeah. Yet.
Don't worry, Dara O'Brien will be on in a few seasons' time. Very funny man, very Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll see my full power. Trust me.
Oh no. Your full power.
My full power. Ah. Oh well, oh well. Yeah. So, in conclusion, Whitaker makes it 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
I believe that is just about all we have to say, unless, we should talk about the Irish for 15 minutes again.
No.
No? Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, would you do us the honors of saying something final?
Let's see. Something final. Taxes. Okay.
There's nothing final about taxes, and you know it.
It's inevitable.
It is inevitable, sure, but you can always change your tax forms.
True.
Which reminds me, in 2 weeks, I'm getting like $2,000 back in tax.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think about gold plating my horn. Maybe even gold plating my chair. We'll see.
That is excessive use of that money.
Well, tax returns, man. Tax returns.
Mm-hmm.
And to quote Jeremy Clarkson, on that bombshell, it is time to end the show. I've been Jasper, that's been Beo, who is afraid of the Portuguese and cats, and is now waving at us very fiercely.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, we'll come out with episode 5, Little Denim Shorts, which sounds very sexy.
Well, okay.
Okay, indeed.
If you say so.
Come on, it's very sexy. Shut up. But until then, I have a good one, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.